What is up, everyone? Welcome to another video. I know I have not been making many more videos recently, but that's only because I really only save my best ideas for actually submitting and uploading on the channel. And this is one of those ideas. I just made this tier list on TierMaker trademark like 5 minutes ago. And what we're going to be ranking here, this is very, very pertinent stuff. What we are ranking here is steps of building IKEA furniture. Which of these steps is, the most satisfying? Which of these steps is going to lead to the most structurally sound furniture when you're done? I can't really think of any more criteria than that. Oh, I guess let's make it official. Let's make it official right here. The criteria. I don't know how many it is, but I'll put it up on screen. We're going to rank on how easy it is. I don't like to do IKEA steps that are super grueling. That's never fun. It's always great when it's just pretty quick and easy and done. Second criteria is how satisfying it is. There could be a long and arduous step. Maybe it's very difficult, but it still can be satisfying. Something about our monkey brains, it's just really nice to maybe slot something in place. And then third criteria would be the structural soundness that results from the operation you have just completed. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the first one we're going to look at is the standard IKEA Allen wrench. And you see we got both Allen wrenches to look at. So they're both very similar, but one is clearly superior. I'm just not going to beat around the bush anymore. This one is better than this one. I don't know if this is A tier and this is B tier just yet. But whichever I rank this one's going a step above. So let's think about this. When you put in an Allen wrench screw, that shit is pretty damn sturdy. That's going to last as long as you do it right, and it's pretty hard to fuck up. That being said, some of these Allen wrench screws, even with the longer, more torque version of the Allen wrench, shit can be exhausting if you have to do a lot of these and they're really long screws. It's kind of satisfying if we're talking about the satisfying criterion. I think overall this guy right here, this normal Allen wrench is a C, and the longer, more torque Allen wrench is a B. They're kind of a little bit better than middle of the road. When I see that I have to do one of these steps in the manual, I am not tripping all that much. Next, we have this little chode screw. It's kind of hard to visualize. Maybe I can get a picture of it up. But this little screw, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing great about it. It's just a chode screw. It's a screw that's done very quick. Probably not the sturdiest of screws. And I don't know if the part is really big enough to be super satisfying. Because typically, at least for me, I think the bigger the part, the more satisfying it is. Because with the smaller part, it's just kind of hard to keep focus. I'd put this one in B tier. A pretty decent screw that will get the job done. Nothing too crazy. Okay. This is probably going to be my first controversial take. I fucking hate IKEA wooden dowels. These are disgusting and they need to be gone. Kind of self-reporting here, the main inspiration for this video. The IKEA wooden dowel is simultaneously all of the following things. It's weak as fuck, always 1 micrometer too large for the hole that is drilled. Need I say more? Just those two things are going to lead to nightmares. I forgot one more thing. It always is. It's always used in a step where you gotta fucking Rubik's Cube two corners together at once, and it's just there's never enough space. So just on its own, these little dowels are not super offensive, but when you have to put it in a hole in IKEA furniture holes, and then you got to take another part and slam that shit in, you're going to break these. You're going to break these, and then they're unusable after you break them. And guess what? This is like the one part that IKEA doesn't think you need a spare of. So I'm trying to think if there's anything more I can rant on this thing. Oh, here's one last thing. At first glance, this seems like something you could just put in with your thumb, right? Like the manual just say, oh, like you don't really need any tools except for the provided Allen wrench. So you think, oh, this wooden dowel, I could just put in my thumb, pat, something on top of it. No, you need a full ass hammer for these things. And once you figure out like hammer tech, you'll kind of know as you hammer them in beforehand, like you can tell the noise when it's fully in. But until you unlock hammer tech with these things, you're in the dark. You just put it in. Oh, I hope that's in enough. And then you got to put something on top. They break. This is F tier. Undisputed. I fucking hate these dowels. End rant. Next thing, like just a normal screw. I think this might be the Allen wrench screw, if we're being honest. Yeah, I think this is an Allen wrench screw. I didn't really notice that while I was making these images, but yeah, I'll put this one up with the B tier. You know, just I've already talked about putting in the Allen wrench stuff. Nothing too crazy about it. Okay, I'm gonna move this guy right here because I think you can see what's happening. We're kind of entering a package deal. This little weird screw thing that's got like a plastic ribbing on it, these are fine. These are like a B tier. They screw in nice and easy. But here's where I think it gets elevated. Whenever you put in one of these, you know what's coming next. And you know that it is the plastic Helix one turn Giga Chad lock this fucker in place for eternity thing. And that brings it up to S tier. These two as a package deal, like this screw goes in nice and easy. I mean, you need your own screwdriver, but I mean, you probably have one if you're breathing and have a pulse and have your own place to live. Like you're gonna have a Phillips screwdriver. And so this thing goes in easy. And then like 2 steps later, like you put in a plank over this guy. And then like, oh, you gotta put the little plastic thing on it. You put it in nice and flat, like it shows you exactly the orientation you need it. And then you put in a flathead and one turn and it's locked and loaded. And it's so sturdy, so satisfying, so easy. This is the God tier of IKEA steps. This is an undisputed champion of IKEA furniture building, and you know it. Moving on, I know we just had a rock star performance from our little, I don't know what to call it, plastic one-turn dandy, but I think the hand-turning leg of a lack table, hopefully I could get a picture in post, screwing in those legs on a lack, effortless. You put in the little like double-sided screw. So this is kind of a package deal here. You put in that double-sided screw, and then you put on the leg. You don't need any tools. Just like you're making pepper. Screw it enough, and then it like starts to slow down, and then you match it up perfectly with like the right angle of the table, and you have a beautiful lack table that you will use for coffee cups for 10 years until you move in with like, I don't know, your spouse or something, and then you get like a better coffee table. But if you live alone and you have an apartment, you know that the lack is goated. That shit is indestructible. It's minimalist. It's perfect, totally functional, and a breeze to build due to this S tier IKEA step, the leg screw into the table. Moving on. It's like a flat screw. I can't say I know or I've done anything with this. I made the picture, but it's either a thumb screw operation or a hammer operation. Yeah, I don't think I've seen this, but to me, it looks like a C tier. It's very long. I don't know what kind of tool I'm supposed to use. It probably doesn't lock in somewhere super snugly. Okay, moving on. Let's just let's just move on to the nail. I want no dissenting opinion on this, okay? When you have to nail something in for IKEA furniture, you know you're in the nightmare realm. Because 99% of the time, what do you have to nail for IKEA furniture? You got to nail like that flimsy ass back panel onto furniture that's like this. Something that's got like that backspace. You got to like line it up perfectly. You got to have the whole fucking thing laying down on the ground. So you put on the one huge piece of construction paper / cardboard amalgam that has the structural integrity of like a 98-year-old's hip bone. And then you have to line it up perfectly. And then what do? You get like these itty bitty fucking nails. And you go like, and then God forbid you miss the 3 millimeter wide panel that the nail has to go down into. Because then you've got a tetanus risk jutting out the back of your furniture, and you're not going to take that nail out. It's already in all the way. You've already fucked it up. And then you've got to do that like 18 more times because you have furniture that's like 35 square feet, and you got to make sure every foot around the edge, at least like every half foot, has a nail in it, and you got to do it perfectly. And then guess what? 3 years later, that shit's falling off. We've all been there. We've all made that IKEA furniture with like the shitty paneling. It doesn't last. End rant brings me to the next one. Slotting in said material in like a slot. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better than nailing it in. Because, like, yeah, you slide it in, it's relatively easy, okay? Kind of satisfying, even though, like, the reason it's not super satisfying is because even as you do it, you're like, that didn't feel right. Like, you put it in, and you have, like, the two sides of the drawer, kind of good. And then you put it in, you slide it in, and it's like, oh, it's moving around. I don't know. And then it only gets its last bit of structural integrity after the fact, after you cap something on the other side, like right here, right on top. And then 3 years down the line, what fucking happens? It fucking sags and drops, and now your drawer is unusable and disgusting because you have 3 pairs of pants falling out of the back betwixt the space of your drawer and wall that you never want to see, and you see your pants just like hanging out, and you never want to go back there and grab them. They're lost forever. So anyway, it's not F tier because it's kind of satisfying when you slide it in. Not terrible. Okay, let's just move on, shall we? Okay, normal screw. Honestly, this deserves A tier. Because this is like a Phillips screw going in something. A standard Phillips screw doesn't seem like much, but when you're working with IKEA furniture, it's like finally a step that like I know how to do based on like intrinsic human experience, and that I know will work and will lead to sturdy equipment. Next. These dowels. Okay, these wooden dowels, well, they're not dowels, but I don't know the word for this. I'm going to need to research what this is, but think of it like a railroad spike, and you put it into a wooden hole it's got ridges on it that like create friction with the wood, and it's a pretty sturdy hold. But a lot of the time you have to do 2 of them on opposite directions, and you're like hammering one, and then the other one kind of like loosens up a little bit, and you got to go back, do it again, and then the one you were just finishing has come out loose, and you got to do the same shit like 6 times for a full nail on both of them. So honestly, like it's not as bad as the dowels or this thing. I would say this is like a C tier. And then last but not least, bracketing to the wall. Dude, I live in earthquake country, and I have not done this with IKEA furniture. Am I gonna die that way? Maybe. Okay, I'm putting it in D tier because it's way too much fucking work. And especially if I have something that's low to the ground, like this thing right here, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I would consider it for like a tall bookcase, but I don't have tall IKEA bookcases because I don't trust like that. But anyway, I don't know. This was dumb, but I thought it'd be a fun little video. Yeah, but I got nothing else to say. Hope y'all make some great IKEA furniture in the future. Peace.